Hello, this is Michael Jill, and today I'll be doing a review on this portable SSD that I got from eBay. It's a 4TB version, as you can see right here. It's an M.2 SSD, and the model number is SHLR320. And it says hard drive enclosure, so I guess it's an enclosure for a hard drive. Yeah. On the back it says the parameters are that it's M.2. The product interface is USB 3.0, USB 3.1 Type-C. And we'll see when we open it. Compatible devices, computers, desktop, laptops, and the system support is Windows 7, Windows 10, iOS. Supported hard disk, M.2, and GFF. So that's what it says it supports, and it says all the different sizes of the M.2 SSDs. So let's take a look at the eBay listing before I do an unboxing. I really don't want to give so much information away about this device for privacy reasons, but as you can see over here, it was $27.29 for a 4TB version, but they also had the 8TB version, and it's sold as portable SSD mobile solid-state drive USB Type-C hard drive, storage disk 8TB. Let me show you what happens when I click the listing. This is the page that I get, and it was just a few days ago that I bought it. Although there are many other very similar products to this. Being as I'm a super smart individual, I went and I screenshotted it before I bought it. It claims to have USB 3.1, and then it also says it can transfer at speeds as high as 37 megabytes a second, which is a contradiction. Over here again, it claims USB 3.1 speed transmission. But as you can see over here, we see a lot more of these types of listings. And over here you see it says Chelita 11TB. Yeah, sure. I think this is a genuine mistake on behalf of the seller. He says portable SSD storage 11TB. I'll never see 11TB for $58. Over here again is another seller selling for 8TB, 4TB for $30. There's also 2TB for $24. Very hard to believe that these are legit, but that's not going to stop me from testing the one that I have. So let's do a quick unboxing. Okay, and it comes with the SSD. It comes with a Type-C to Type-A cable. If you take a look, it's actually blue, but if you look inside, there are only 4 pins, which makes it USB 2.0, although most of the blue ones are usually USB 3.0. This one is actually not 3.0. An authentic USB 3.0 cable actually looks like this. To the left, as you can see, there are 4 more pins inside, whereas this one only has the original 4 pins from USB 2.0. Furthermore, we have 2 adapters. They're both exactly the same, USB 2.0 adapters, and they both go to micro. So I guess this was what it was saying about micro. The actual SSD is pretty small. It's comparable to my WD Western Digital 256 gigabytes SSD with an M.2 drive inside. So that's what it's comparable to. Other than that, it's pretty light, a lot lighter than my other the Western Digital one. It does have a light indicator there, and it does work on USB-C. So the cable will work with it, obviously. The cable does come with it, so there we go. And otherwise, the case is very plain. It's actually pretty nice looking. Let's see if it has an LED when it's plugged in. When it's plugged in, it does have an LED that lights up, so that's nice. And it's blue. Although I'm very skeptical of having a 4TB SSD that only costs $28 or less than $28. So we're going to run some tests. I'm going to try to fill it up with as much as I can and see how long it'll be able to keep data properly. Because I'm very skeptical that this can actually hold 4TB at $28. So let's get started. As I said, I'm very skeptical that this is 4TB. There is no information on it at all. It just says portable SSD all in one word. So yeah. We're going to copy a bunch of files onto this flash drive, and then we're going to transfer it to our 4TB SSD. I've now transferred all of my reviews to this folder over here. It's almost 4 gigabytes. That SanDisk USB flash drive was able to transfer at about 35 megabytes for the read speeds, and for the write speeds it was like 3 megabytes. And now we're going to paste over all these files. Let's see. We're starting the paste job, and we're transferring at 11 megabytes write speeds, which is not bad, better than my SanDisk flash drive, but definitely not USB 3.1 speeds. And it is showing up as 4TB. Obviously, there's probably some kind of software here tricking the computer into thinking that it's 4 terabyte. So let's see the local disk. It's exFAT file system, and yeah, it's showing. Let's see if I could find any information on it. Well, as you can see, the label here is basic data partition. It's SSD. So let's see properties. I think it's going to bring up the same properties, so not much. It's just the device name is FSS SSD USB device, and that's what shows up down here as well. When you want to take it out, it just shows up eject product. So that's the name of it. Policies. I guess we'll finish the transfer and see how it goes. And it's still transferring at a steady 10.8 megabytes a second, whatever, 11-ish megabytes a second. But we're going to just copy a ton of data onto here, and we'll see if anything interesting happens. So I will just keep on copying, and I will let you know when I see, let's say, a change in the system. So for now, I'm just transferring 4 gigabytes. I'm going to just keep on copying and seeing what happens. Okay, so now we're going to test, I guess, these files that I transferred over. Now let's see if they work.
Hello, this is Michael Jones. Today I want to do a review on this timer.
Okay, great.
I wanted a timer independent of my computer, independent of my phone. So that way I could just have a timer and just have a sole purpose for a timer.
So far it looks like it is working for these files, which is nice. Now let's test the read speed, and we're going to just drag this right over, and we're going to see what the speeds are, and it's doing 15 megabytes. Let's try more. Okay, we're going to test the read speeds with a bunch of different files. That way we have a better idea, and I guess it's averaging at 15 megabytes, so it doesn't get anything close to the 37 that they were promising. And this computer does have an SSD inside. So yeah. Okay, so we're just going to run a few copies and see how long it takes for it to, I guess, perhaps show its real size. I wonder if I could run HW2 test on it. But I guess we'll be back in a minute or two. I'll let you know. The write speeds have dropped to 6 megabytes a second, and it keeps on going down to 0 for a few seconds before it goes back up. So that's a little bit concerning. It's still at 0, and now it's going back up to 6 megabytes. And we are finally at the point that the drive is no longer functioning properly. We filled up 311 gigabytes out of 3.5 terabytes. And the first indication that some files are bad, and as you can see, they're just copies of each other, is that some of them are showing the thumbnails and some of them are not. So let's see the ones that are showing the thumbnails. Let's play it. Let's see if it works. Should work. Oh no, these are also corrupted. So really all the files are now corrupted. As you can see, nothing is working anymore. Especially the files that don't have thumbnails. Those for sure will not work. Yep. They were working before, but they're not working anymore. And that's because they're all corrupted, because really the drive is already full and it's just writing over some of the other files. Let's try a different video. I'm wondering if even one of the videos are still good. I don't know. I don't think so. Let's try binocular view over here, and it's not working as well. So I've already contacted the company and I asked them for a refund. I said my drive is full, and my drive I put a few hundred gigabytes in my drive, and now all the files are corrupted. I guess so. The moral of the story is we learned that these drives usually hold, a small percentage of how much they claim to hold. In this case, it's 4 terabyte. It holds, I don't know, 250 gigabytes, let's say. So I guess that's more than I expected. I didn't expect it to be more than 64 gigabytes. But for $28 for a 300 gigabyte SSD, it's not that bad, but this is not a real SSD. This is a fake SSD. A real SSD is something like this, WD. It's a Western Digital My Passport SSD. I've also created a few of my own SSDs. You could just buy SSD, buy an enclosure, and just put it inside. I have this NVMe SSD with Orico's enclosure. Since this is an M.2 SATA SSD, it transfers at around 350 megabytes a second. This could transfer at around 1 to 2 like 1.2 gigabytes a second. So technically this is really, really fast. However, usually you won't get those speeds unless you have a 10 gigabits a second port. So usually it'll mark on your computer, like for example, this is super speed. So this is just USB 3.2 Gen 1. So the basic USB 3.0 that we've known until now. And therefore it will only transfer at like 350 megabytes a second, which you'll see marketed as 5 GBs, 5 gigabits a second, but it's really gigabits, so 350 megabytes is the actual speed you'll get. But you'll get nothing close to the performance on this portable SSD. It has a maximum write speed of like 6-7 megabytes. Maybe, I think it was 11 in the beginning. And then a read speed got pretty close. The read speed got, I think, 15 megabytes or something like that. So it wasn't terrible, but it was just about as good as a cheap flash drive. A USB 2.0 flash drive, and for a USB 2.0 flash drive, 240 gigabytes, cost around the same amount, $20. This one was $28, and also it ruins your data if you put in more, so I would highly recommend staying far away from this. If someone wants a video of it being opened up, if they let me keep it, I'll open it up. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this helped you make your decision if you're going to buy something like this. Do not buy these scams. Have a great day, and please thumbs up this video if you found it helpful.